KP Supermarine Spitfire Mk.IX Spitfire Stars 1:72 scale. The box art is really beautiful, like always when commissioned for Carlos Alonso to do. By the year it shows it's 2019, so it's an older boxing, no longer in production. It's maybe available still in some shops, but that's how it is with KP lately. They do some boxings that are available for like 6 months and they're gone. So this could be considered a limited edition. So they say it's a new tool, and this is the reason I bought this kit, Spitfire Stars, because all the roundels contain a star, and there is a decal for American version, Yugoslav one, and a Soviet one. So this first should represent an aircraft on the Italian front. This should be end of the war in Yugoslavia, and also end of the war for the Soviet Union. It says here Berlin Operation April 1945. So with the KP schemes, I came to a conclusion that most of them are what if. So further research is needed if those were real aircraft. But I bought them mainly because of the nice schemes they provided, and they do that lately. So basically the schemes do the sale for the KP kits mainly, not the quality of the kit itself. The box is a standard KP one, so you can see the website of KP and further information about the address. I bought this kit in a shop, but I also did some shopping in their shop. So they also have an e-shop, and what I find nice is that if I remember correctly, they do free shipping about 60 euros for European Union. So that's great. You save on shipping, and they also have always something on sale for like 50%. So that's nice. So you can expect a lot more KP reviews from me. On the sides, still the standard. So here is the price in Czech crowns. That should be around 12-13 euros. And it's a side opening box. And in the box, it's really nicely packed content, which became a standard for Eastern European manufacturers to do this kind of practice, to have like packaging in this type of bags, which are good for protecting parts, but I find them annoying when you open them and try to put the content inside back again. This side is sticky, so it's a bit annoying on that part. But anyway, here is the content. So this remained glue to that part. Let's close that, put it to the side, and yeah, let's first take a look at the instructions. So really they're keeping the short run spirit here at KP, because they're not even folded right. It's done on an A4 double-sided printed paper, so something you can do on your home printer. But It's sufficient for instructions and brings a bit of nostalgia for that old school stuff. Yeah, the instructions are in Czech and English. There is a little bit of history here about the Spitfire, the technical data on the left side, and on the right side, which I find interesting. They're doing like this, like an art piece, so to say. So like the titles in the end of the movie or at the beginning, showing who did the master model, production coordination, molds and production, box art, instruction, graphic design, who printed the decals, who were the consultants. So I assume with so much consultants, the schemes should be okay. Especially when I seen this name, Jaroslav Velc. He, if you don't know, he is the one of the most famous box artists doing kits in the 80s, 90s, even in the 2000s. I don't know if he's still doing that. I know he has art exhibition in Czech Republic, but I learned his name from the Revel boxes, and yeah, such a big name should guarantee that everything is alright on the schemes, but as told at the beginning, further research is always good. So they say also that they gratefully acknowledge the cooperation of all who provided materials from their personal collections and thus enabled the preparation of this model. So that's the introduction. The kit number is KPM 0167, and the instructions are short and sweet. So here are the 3 parts. So they show which parts are not needed for this type of Spitfire, and as is tradition, every airplane must begin in the cockpit, but as I saw in some newer kits, that tradition is broken. So there is a bit of interesting approach to that, but maybe about that in some other video. But they start with the instruments panel. So they say how to paint it, which decal to add, then the controlling stick, the seat, the back of the seat, wheels, then they continue. I don't know why they started with the wheels here, but maybe same paints are used, I don't know. Then the rest of the cockpit, so it's pretty busy here, but I can see from this it's not a complete Spitfire. So then they turn to the prop, and here are the sidewalls, and what I find interesting, they do it in color, so you know which paint you need to apply. They also have it in text. Then you have to do a bit of scratch building here. So plastic plate 2 times 15 times 3.5 millimeters. So that will be a bit tricky, but I don't know if it has to be exact. I would dare tell you to do that because of the exhaust, so that the exhaust part has where to lean on the inside. I would just do a bigger stripe. So, but I will see how it goes when I get to there. And why I said it's not a complete Spitfire, it should have further structure in the back. It shouldn't end here at the cockpit. It should at least end like 1.5 centimeters in the back. but they consider maybe when you put the seat inside it's not so visible, but we all know it's pretty visible in a Spitfire. So they continue here to glue everything together. The fuselage halves, so nothing more on the inside is done except these two scratch build parts and I don't know, this should be oxygen tanks or at least some kind of gas tanks shown in every Spitfire, but that's it, like 3 parts. And then they say glue the cockpit assembly from beneath, so you have to push it in. This should already be glued together, and there's a further detail for the aiming device. And let's see what's the next step. That goes to the wings. So every type of Spitfire had like a little bit different wings and wingtips. So they say here remove it, so you have to remove the tips of the wing. You glue it together, but here it is not shown as removed, so it's a bit confusing. Maybe they recycled this picture from other type, or it's maybe a common picture for every type, so this needs to be followed. Then they go to the landing gear assembly, so not a lot of details here. So there's the leg, a little bit of structure, landing gear doors, and that's it. Then here's the scoop for some, I think it's an air scoop, should be in the middle. They don't even show where it goes. Oh, here it is in the last picture, but they show here the dehedral of the wing should be 5.98 degrees. I don't know how they came to that number. Could just write 6. You cannot measure it that precisely anyway without having professional instruments, but I suggest just eyeball it and it should look okay. Then they instruct to do the rest, so glue everything to the fuselage, tail assembly, tail wheel, cockpit frame, the mirror, antenna. And I'm not sure if they instruct here to do 2 type of wheels. Yeah, so it has like, how is it called, 5 struts and 4 struts. So that depends on the scheme you're doing, and therefore we'll see if it's shown on the schemes, but therefore research is needed and recommended for such details. And the back page basically shows the stencils, so that's pretty nice. We get here a separate sheet for stencils, which is shown here, but I assume these are like maybe used also for other schemes. I'm not sure if they have other schemes for Mk.IX, but I'm sure they do. They always do 2 or 3 boxing of the same type. So yeah, that's the stencils, but this needs to be the last step in the assembly. So one more look at the schemes. Yeah, no wheels are shown here, so yeah, at least for that part further information is needed. But also the paints are shown here on the side. I didn't pay attention in the instructions. That should be Humbrol and something else. At least I cannot see at the first glance what they... here, shown on the box here, Humbrol and Agama. So left is Humbrol, on the right is Agama. but any whatever paint you have, like whichever producer, they also provide the name of the paint, and I mean it's common for Russian and English airplanes which colors need to be used here. So then let's take a look at the stencil decal sheet. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay, so it looks okay. You can pretty much read from it, but the lettering, it's a bit bold. So I don't know if that's intended or they had a technical limitation on that part, but at least the bare minimum is provided, what you need for a Spitfire stencil speaking. So then the main sheet of the decals. This is the main reason I bought this kit, because the intention was to use the Edward kit, so to do those schemes on a Edward Spitfire kit, but they're not such of a great quality. It doesn't show that much on camera, maybe here, but basically they use two type of reds, which this one for Yugoslav and the same red is used for USA, are not correct, and they should be bright red like the Soviet stars. So the only correct decals here are the Soviet ones, so maybe they need a replacement, but I think it should be enough if I go with a filter over the decals in the end with some bright red. It should look okay, but out of the box it's not okay at all. And but at least the decals, they are in register, so no major issues. So maybe a little bit of missing color here. It could go as chipping, but it could be also corrected in the end. From my experience, KP decals are so and so, meaning they behave okay when you apply them, but they need additional care. So they're not the best quality, but can be applied really good. I mean, they look good in the end, so no problem there. They just need additional care. And regarding this scheme, I don't know if the Soviets used this typography on their airplanes. It looks like something you would add, like at least the font looks something like you would add on your PowerPoint presentation. So maybe Arial or something. I don't know if that's period correct, but I may be wrong. It just looks pretty unusual. You can see that on the box itself. So it's in an unusual place, in an unusual color, and in an unusual font. And it's basically parole, which says Smert fascismu, which means death to fascism, which was the Soviet war cry at the end of the war, or throughout the whole war. So basically smash fascism. And I found it really funny, the USA one, they use Porky, who says that's all folk. Correct should be that's all folks. Porky 2, so Porky 1 either missing in action or something happened, or they decided to have two Porkies, I don't know. But I see only one mistake here on the decals. So on the airplane, I don't know the meaning of that decal. It says PUR, so it should be on the bottom part of the nose, but here it says PUD. So somebody did a mistake either on the decal sheet or in the instructions. So I don't know which should be correct, but I think this one is the correct one, but that needs further research. But what's annoying about that, it's not fixable because you don't have any R, at least for example here in the airplane register, so that you could like cut out the R and replace it, paint it. I don't know. This is a tricky fix. It can be done, but it's really tricky to do. So maybe do a separate print on your printer, or don't use the decal, or maybe there are additional sheets that use this as a common decal for Spitfires or RAF airplanes. But nevertheless, the schemes are really interesting, showing the American, Yugoslav, and the Soviet ones. Basically, these two are inherited airplanes from the IRF, and these are from the Land Lease, and that's why the schemes, I go back to the schemes. So that's basically why it looks like RF planes. On the Yugoslav, it seems they did some repairs here. It's painted, I think, sand brown, yellow brown. So maybe it was also involved in the African theater, which was a common thing for the partisan aviation, because a lot of Yugoslav, so from the Kingdom of Yugoslavia Army, or better said Air Force, many pilots escaped to Africa and joined the Allies, and they got mainly Spitfires and Hurricanes. Some of them, as I remember, got to take their airplanes home back to Yugoslavia to use them in the Yugoslavian theater until the end of the war. But as I said, everything's need further read, so not much details provided here. But let's take now the look at the parts. So there are basically 3 parts and third one for the clear part. So let's take a look at the fuselage parts first. So everything looks nice and crisp. So no flashing. I don't see any sink marks. And it has a few rivets here, which are common. And like every Spitfire kit, these big ones. Also on the wings, but only on the opening hatches that are removable. The rest of the wings doesn't sport any rivets at all. But I can say this looks like one of the, may I say, the best KP kits I saw until now. So it's really nicely made. The tooling is great. I assume the fit is also good. Many buyers of the KP kits always say the prop airplanes are a delight to build, but the jet ones are like a real pain to do. So at least this sides, it sports nice and crisp panel lines, wide just as much as they should be, also deep enough to take a little bit of wash. And on the other side, so let's see the details here for the cockpit. That's really nicely done. ejector pin marks and not in unusual places, for example in the middle of the details, but at least the Spitfire should have at least so much details until here. So this part, maybe some scratch building is needed, and it's a good thing that this Spitfire from Edward provides a lot of reserve parts for the cockpits for other versions. So if you have an Edward Spitfire, you can steal a few parts from there and make this into a really nice looking one. And this is the thing I mentioned in the instructions about the wheel. There are two types, 4 and 5 spoked wheels. I think no, that's just the lightning, so I think that was a sync mark, but it looks okay. So also on the landing gear doors there is minimum detail, but I think it's enough for such a kit. Here's the other sprue containing the lower part of the wing. So it's looking quite nice. It's always tricky on the Spitfires to get this part correctly, so it should be a little bit more deeper. And that's what the Spitfire from the 90s from Revol got really wrong. They did it like really flat. From the top it looks like a Spitfire, and from beneath you can't recognize the plane because of that. So I think this is not the best they could done on Spitfire, but it's good enough. So you can see how the KP are doing their tooling. They do it by hand. So there are further scratches here made by scribing tool, so that adhesive has some more surface to grab. And let's take a look at the other details. There were some technical difficulties that interrupted this one take, one man show, but let's continue on that. So I was looking at tail controlling surfaces, so they look pretty nice. So also the canvas is represented really nicely. There's slight riveting there. And on the other side it's basically the same stuff. So what else do we got here? Exhaust pipes, of course, they are not drilled. Nobody can make that out in plastic. You have to buy aftermarket in resin or 3D printed. The legs look okay. There's also further detail for the landing gear base. They should be glued here. And there's other stuff here, like the antenna, the control stick, the pitot tube, the aiming device, which is surprisingly not in clear plastic. So you basically have to cut it here and put a piece of clear plastic to represent it correctly. Let's take a look at the seat. It looks okay. Has enough detail for a Spitfire seat. They were also made, I think the material was called Bakelite or something like that. That's like the grandfather of the plastic we know today, polystyrene, ABS and such plastics. But yeah, that's why they were colored like in I think in I can't remember the name of the color, but it's reddish, so it was like because of the resin used and other components that the seats were red. So you have to paint it red. It's really common in a Spitfire and a Hawker Hurricane. So here is the tail wheel. Minimal details there. Here are the air tanks that you need to put in the cockpit area. The prop for blades. It's always nice to see it in one piece, so you don't have to do any tricky assemblies there. And what else do we got here? So basically some I think this is the headrest, and this should be the tip of the not used machine guns. And where are the machine guns? Here they are. So basically correct detailing for what this kit is. Also nice detailing of the cockpit floor. The control pedals are there for the rudder. So no ejection pin marks in unusual places, which is always good. But like I said, I don't quite like the geometry here, but it should all look okay. Otherwise, the underside of the wing has more detail, as the real thing has also, but no general riveting all over the place. But it looks nice. And lastly, let's take a look at the clear part, which is packed in a separate bag, which is also something that deserves praise whenever a manufacturer does that. So let's prepare the decals here to see how it looks through. So on the first glance it looks thick, but it's actually thin in the back, and also the midsection is quite okay, so it's under a millimeter, which is good. And the frame is a little bit raised, as it should be, so even freehand masking is not an issue here. And yeah, no masks included in this kit. But let's see the magnification and distortion. It's quite some, so maybe it needs a little bit of polishing. So yeah, Porky is no more recognizable here, but it's okay for what it is. It's basically a short run kit disguised as a I don't know, a long run kit, maybe is the correct term. But yeah, it looks all in all okay together. So does it state anywhere on the box if they have new tooling, but they don't say if the tooling is made out of metal like long run kits are made. But nevertheless, the kit looks okay. So let's pack everything back. So there's the clear part, the frames. So basically what they do in factory, they put everything on the instructions. And they take these bags when they're brand new. They have a little bit of protection film on the sticky parts, so it's really easy for them to do. But let's try here how I do that part. Not so great, but it went in. Let's also put the decals. They don't have any protection film, but I think in a bag like that they don't even need any. from my experience, bags like this can protect a kit for quite some long time, maybe even a decade, from humidity and other factors. So this type of packaging is okay, maybe a little bit annoying when you put everything back inside, but we cannot have everything perfect. But final thoughts on the kit. It's really bright looking, so to say. It catches your eye immediately, so it's an action scene. No, let's say it's family friendly here. Both aircraft are from the same side, as you can see from the bright red stars, so they're patrolling somewhere above Berlin, and I assume at the end of the war there was nothing more to shoot out of the sky, but precaution had to be taken. And yeah, this is the reason I bought it. The nice stars that are included in the schemes. But do I recommend buying this kit? Absolutely not. I mean, it looks nice and correct, but for the price I paid, I think I paid about 16 euros. For that price, absolutely not. If it was like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, so under 10 euros, I would say, yeah, it's an okay kit to buy, but it also includes really interesting schemes. It has its points, but with such lack of details on the riveting and also on the backside of cockpit, and having also such dingy decals, like wrong colors, missing paints in places, text is too bold on the stencils, so I would say it's not such a great quality. I get where KP is coming from, and I really give credit to those people what they're trying to do with their products, but for the price, I would say no. And especially there's already a far more superior kit on the market of this Spitfire Mk.IX in the same scale for same or lower price. So with that, you decide what to do. Like I said, I bought it for the nice scheme, which I intend to use on the Edward Spitfire plastic. You can buy them also as how they like to call them, overtrees. That means like bare plastic from the Edward website. They go for like when they have their sale, like after parties, after big exhibitions, or even now for Halloween, there's an annual sale. Also Christmas time, and I think they have something Easter, and also in summertime. So yeah, basically you have a sale at Edward every 3 or 4 months, and you can get the plastic for like 5 euros plus. I know shipping costs are an issue, but when you buy in bulk, it's, for me at least, it's a better deal. If the decals were better, I would praise this kit a little bit more than coming to a conclusion to not recommend it. But should you throw it away if you already have it? No. I will use the plastic of the kit for a what if project. I do annually a Halloween themed airplane that I started in 2018. So I already built a bunch, and yeah, now it's what is it, already 24th of October. So I will have about a week to complete the build and paint it. And if everything does go correctly on that part, I will also I assume I will do a photo build of that photo build video and an afterthought video to talk about more about the quality of the plastic and how it goes together. But yeah, anyway, KP has a lot of other kits in their assortment, so you know, not everyone can be a hit. I assume they did just this to compete with Edward, so that's my conclusion, but I don't see no competition there. But yeah, they have their market, they do their kits, and as you see, I don't have like I don't even count how many Edward kits I still buy something like this. So yeah, sometimes it's a surprise, but yeah, that would be all. Until next time.